Am I the a-hole because I let my wife break a gift from her grandmother? My 27 wife's 23 grandmother is downsizing and moving into a retirement community. Rather than put everything into storage and wait until she passes away, her grandmother is giving away everything that won't fit into her new home to her family. Part of my wife's loot was a French butter keeper. If you don't know what that is, I will try and explain. It is a ceramic bowl roughly the size of a large mug with no handle. The lid has a smaller bowl attached to it, and when you put it on, the smaller bowl fits inside the bigger bowl upside down. That is important to the story. The bigger bowl has some water in it. That keeps the butter cool and forms an airtight seal to protect the butter. I told my wife that it was really cool and I set it up. She said that I set it up wrong and she emptied out the water and flipped the thing upside down. About a week later I came home and she was crying because she broke it. A little butter had gotten between the two bowls and made them kind of tacky, I guess. When she picked up the outer bowl lid, the smaller one came with it. Butter does not make a good adhesive, so when it was a few inches up, the bottom came loose and fell. It hot at just the wrong angle and broke. My wife says I should have explained better why she was wrong. She said that I let her break it to prove a point. She's upset with me for letting her break a gift. I'm not sure what she would have wanted me to explain. Gravity? The adhesive coefficient of butter? How lids work? I showed her the right way and let her have her way when she called it dumb. I think if she really cared, it would have taken 5 seconds to YouTube a video of how to use the damn thing. Am I the a-hole for not sharing a family recipe with someone who doesn't consider me family? My boyfriend Nick and I have been dating for 3 years, almost 4 now. Before this incident I got along great with his family. I was invited to spend holidays with them and we exchanged gifts on birthdays, so I thought we were pretty close. Every year Nick's family goes on a trip. This summer the trip was to somewhere I really wanted to go. I asked his mom, who was planning the trip, if I could tag along if I paid for myself. She said sorry no, but this is a family trip and I wasn't family yet. I told Nick and he said no one's SO was invited, so I wasn't the only one being excluded. I was still upset but dropped the subject. It's now fall and the weather is getting cooler. Nick's family was coming over, so I decided to make my family's chili recipe to celebrate the cold weather. Nick and his family love my chili, so I made sure there was enough for them to take home. Before Nick's mom left, she asked if I could share the recipe with her so she could make it for a work potluck. I told her sorry, but this is a secret family recipe. She asked, aren't we already considered family? I replied, according to you we aren't. After that she went oh okay then left. After everyone was gone, Nick told me I was being cruel. I reminded him that his mother was the one who said I wasn't family first and she can't pick and choose when we are. He said that was a completely different situation and I was being petty. He left after that and has been cold for the past couple of days. I don't see how I'm in the wrong here. It's okay for his mother to deny me something because we're not family, but when I do it I'm an asshole? Am I an asshole or was my response justified? Am I the a-hole for asking my coworker what would happen if I drank her breast milk? My 20/F coworker Kate had a baby a little while ago, and in the break room during lunch yesterday she was talking about breastfeeding. During the conversation I asked Kate, hey, so what would happen if I were to drink your breast milk? Kate said, excuse me? I did realize that it sounded like a weird question when you didn't hear the train of thought leading up to it, so I tried to explain myself and said, I mean, is it okay because your baby is related to you, but I'd get sick because I don't have your same bacteria? Kate didn't answer me, but our other coworker Lauren then said, well, it can't be that that's how it works because then wet nurses wouldn't have been a thing. I've never heard of a wet nurse and asked Lauren, what's that? Lauren said, it's when you hire a nanny who had a baby at the same time as you so that she can also breastfeed your baby for you, but it's like an old-timey thing. So at this point Kate said, you guys are being dicks, and left. I found out today that she's telling people that me and Lauren were making fun of her about breastfeeding. So I do understand why Kate would have been uncomfortable with the first way I asked the question, because yes, that was kind of a stupid way to say it, but I don't really understand how she thinks I was making fun of her at all after that. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my wife name our kids something stupid? Me, 25M, and my wife, 23F, are having our first child together. She is currently 9 months pregnant and could give birth anytime in the next couple of weeks. The only major fight we have had throughout her pregnancy happened a couple days ago, and it was about what we were going to name our kid. It all started when we found out the gender of the baby. We didn't do a gender reveal and decided to find out the gender at one of her checkups because we didn't want to spend time making 2 lists of names then have to get rid of one after. So after we found out we were having a boy, we sat down together and made a list. Almost all of the names she suggested were normal, until the one that caused me to write this post. She suggested we name our son Mune. She told me the name was from this movie she watched when she was younger and that it always stuck with her. I told her the name was a little out there and he would get made fun of for it. She claimed he wouldn't, and we started going back and forth trying to decide whether to add the name to the list or not. Eventually she agreed to keep the name off the list. We picked some that we liked, and I thought that was that. Later on in her pregnancy her mom decided to throw a baby shower as it was her first grandchild, and my wife's pregnancy was almost over and we hadn't celebrated once. It was fine for the most part until we started to open the gifts. Most of them were normal baby things like diapers and bottles, until we got to her mom's gift. My wife opened the gift bag and pulled out a blue handmade blanket. It seemed normal enough at first until my wife unfolded it and lo and behold there was the name Yoon written on the blanket. When I saw it I was pissed but didn't want to cause a scene so I stayed quiet. After that reveal I had family members come up to me and ask me about the name and why I hadn't told them. I didn't know what to tell them as I didn't have a clue about this either and just had to embarrassingly tell my family that, which pissed me off even more. Once the event ended and me and my wife went home I started to question her about the name. She got defensive and told me that it was a good name and that I was overreacting about it. I brought up the earlier points and told her it was a stupid name for a kid and if she wanted to name something Yoon so bad she could use the name for a dog. She got upset and called her mom to come get her. After she left she called me and told me she wouldn't be coming back for a while. Everyone I've talked to about this has said I'm not the asshole, but now that my wife has been gone and I've been thinking about it I feel like I could have handled the situation better. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter she needs to grow up and stop expecting everyone else to cater to her diet because she wants to lose weight? I, 45F, have been a stepmother to Lucy, 17F, for the past 2 years. I also have a son, Jack, 15M, from my previous relationship. For the first 18 months that I knew Lucy, she was in love with junk food. She would use the money she would get from babysitting the neighbors' kids to buy cookies, chips, ice cream all the time. It was very unhealthy how much of that crap she was eating. I tried to politely encourage her to switch to something healthier that still tasted good like yogurt that she would always respond with "You're not my mom" and stop controlling my body. Because of this she's put on a lot of weight. Anyway, about 6 months ago, she got into an argument with a boy in school. They called each other names and he ended up calling her a hippo. That made her really self-conscious and she's been trying to improve her health since then. She threw out all the junk food we had at home and tries to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. She's been making steady progress and I'm happy that she's been taking care of herself. My son however has recently taken a liking to Doritos chips. He doesn't eat a lot of it. Maybe a packet every other week. He mostly eats it in his room so Lucy hasn't seen him eating them. But a couple of days ago he was watching a TV show downstairs and he decided to eat his chips. I was cooking in the kitchen but then I heard an argument so I ran out to figure out what was going wrong. Lucy was mad at Jack for eating chips and told him to throw it out because she's trying to lose weight. My son said he can eat whatever he wants. I tried to calmly tell Lucy that Jack is allowed to eat in a common space and if what he's eating is tempting her, she can nicely ask him to put it away or she can go to another room until he finishes if he declines her request. That just made her angrier and she accused me of playing favorites and sabotaging her progress. This pissed me off because I've done nothing but support her these past few months. I firmly told her she's almost 18 and she needs to grow up and accept that not everyone will follow her diet especially in their own homes. She cried to her mom who's now blowing up my phone calling me a bitch for not supporting her daughter. My husband, her dad, is on my side but after sleeping on it, I think I could have used a gentler tone.